Oh, elili swela bantabamnya, elili swetambo, elili swela. Remind me of your former deputy chairperson, Comrade Mabusela, told me when he was in Limpopo.
In terms of the provincial working committee, we've got 6 out of the expected 8 comrades. We are only missing the SAC as well as the gender convener. We are having apologies from them. In terms of the regions chair, we are having Bushabela present. In terms of the ROP present chair, we are having 6 out of the 8. There is an apology from the chair as well as the treasurer of the region. We are having 10 out of the expected 10 branches from Bushabela. Justice Ibeko chair, we are having 6 out of the expected 8 ROP members. We are missing the treasurer as well as the education convener of the region. And we are having 8 out of the expected 9 branches. We are only missing Mkombo branch chair. In terms of Mzansi Legwa chair, we are having 7 ROP members out of the expected 8. We are missing the treasurer of the region. Chair, we are having 7 out of 8 ROPs in Mkababa. We are only missing the SAC convener of the region. We are as expected, it's 5 out of 5 branches. We are having 6 regional office bearers out of the expected 6. We are also having 7 out of 7 expected branches, Chair. Chair, let me also indicate that in our midst, we are also having the delegation or the staff from the provincial office in the form of the provincial organizer, the office manager, as well as the front desk manager. We can also indicate, Chair, that there is also the staff. So in total, Chair, we are 183 in this meeting.
Name, surname, and branch. Ningizimu branch in 2007. You are still Ogis today. And uqinela abanye uphi? Athi Henrina. What is that? You must change the name. But iyabhala Ogis yakhe. Item number you see, I'm seated here. I'm consulting with the chair all the time. So you must sit that side.
Chair, we the extended PwC meeting will be confirmed with the following details, Chair. The venue is clarified to be where we are, Chair. The date is today, Chair. The proposed agenda is as follows. Number one, as we have dealt with, is the opening and welcome. The next part, Chair, will be the adoption of the notice conveyed in the meeting, Chair, for which we have already dealt with. The fourth part will be the adoption of the agenda, which is the current item, Chair. The fifth one will be the interprovincial bills. The sixth item will to court case, and then the last item, Chair, will be the closure. We therefore propose, Chair, to the adoption of this agenda as the program that will give a direction to this particular meeting. Thank you very much, Chair.
of the agenda. You must make sure that you are a branch leader. Give other kids a chance.
Amandla. 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 Viva Sadtu, viva. Viva Sadtu, viva. Viva the Communist Party, viva. Viva the ANC, viva. Amandla. Comrades, we already been welcomed by the Provincial Deputy Chair. Myself and him made an error. We should have done with this in number one. But in our consultation, we made that mistake. So we do not, therefore, we do not want to be very long and repeat what he has already said. The meeting has already been declared open. And we are saying, in order for us to be good communists, because we accept ourselves as members of the Communist Party of South Africa. So we are saying, in order for us to be good communists, we must temper ourselves ideologically in struggles of all kinds, inside and outside Sadtu. Constantly sum up and learn from experience gained in revolutionary practice, and examine our own ideas to see whether they fully conform to Marxism and Leninism. We have convened this meeting here to clarify our leaders so that in future, leaders should not hesitate to take their phones and call either the provincial secretary, the regional secretary, or the chairpersons for clarity. Let us first, comrades, start on the oncoming games between Sadtu Mpumalanga and Sadtu Gauteng. just to say, mensana in corporsano, a healthy mind in a healthy body. We say it's time to enjoy, make friends, and celebrate. And to say it is not in the interest of Sadtu members or membership to see leaders writing ill-informed opinions on Facebook. Comrades, we don't want to be decoded. So we are here to have a comfortable staff room discussion. Let's discuss, all of us, and ensure that we are able to understand each other. We were in this hall last year, I think in October, when we reminded each other that Sadtu is a union of revolutionary professionals and that we can't allow the federation to fracture permanently. It's what we reminded ourselves here last year. Yes, it is imperative for us to retain the strength that made us to be respected by so many within and outside the borders of South Africa. Let us be brave leaders that do not fail to defend our union. Where we do not have an answer, let us not be afraid to say, let me go and consult. Because we cannot be a jack of all trades, but the master of nothings. Tell no lies, comrades. Mao Zedong or Mao Zedong once said, communists do not fear criticism because the truth is on their side. Close quote. So we must not fear criticism, comrades. Nothing will shake us or force this giant union to falter. We stand for active ideological struggle because it is the weapon for ensuring unity within Sadtu and the Revolutionary Federation in the interest of our fight. As leaders from branches, regions, and the PEC, we are the conveners of this meeting. It is incumbent upon us to ensure that the oncoming two important activities of COSATU in the province are very much successful. That is the provincial shop steward on the 20th of April and the May Day rally, because we're now doing a rally at Lily Mine. I don't want to give a report, the secretary will deal with that. But comrades, we want to say our unity must be sacrosanct. All structures must be resolute, firm, and not easily penetrable. I hope there's such a way is penetrable, or it's a developing English. As you know, a man's ways and actions are guided by his ideology. And a man's ideology is inseparable from his world outlook. I'm not in a class, but I'm not going to explain myself. I'll just leave it there. As we conclude, because I said to the secretary, I will cut what I have here. As we conclude, let's quote Frantz Fanon. When they are presented with evidence that works against that belief, the new evidence cannot be accepted. It will create a feeling that is extremely uncomfortable, called cognitive dissonance. And because it is so important to protect the core belief, they will rationalize, ignore, and even deny anything that doesn't fit in with the core belief. Close quote. As we discuss, put that thing. Welcome, comrades, the chair has said. Sadtu, we are Sadtu, and Sadtu is us. Amanda.
Thank you very much, Chair. Now I know I'm safe. Because we don't want to contest the chairperson. He's got the final word at the end of the day. So yeah, thank you very much, Chair, for welcoming all of us. I'm pausing a bit for the camera. It's an opportunity that comes only once. Thank you very much. We are now going to the next item on the agenda as adopted, item number 5, the interprovincial games, and probably immediately thereafter, the speaker will also shoot straight to number 6. Comrades, in a revolutionary song, considering that is originating from justice. No rarara, Slalo. A proper revolution.
Keeper plus one midfielder, one striker, and one defender as a reserve. That's what happens in soccer. In any case, you allow three changes. None of the provincial working committee members will be players because all of them, after looking at their physique now, none of them is competitive anymore. I myself am the worst soccer player you can imagine. So we'll try our best to choose the best from your regions. Now, as I went to a choir, and the boys stood there and said, no, who can sing in bass? Probably because I had a big voice from a long time ago. I was part of the bass. And as the teacher was, you know, when you start, before you learn the notes, they make you sing a choir, a song, from what you sing at assembly. So we're singing that song, you know. Vuma moya wa, moya wa, moya vum. I'm sitting at the back there, I'm singing on top of my voice, and the teacher is moving within the rows. She's moving within the rows, and then she stops where I am. And she listens. And she said, no, please go. And that thing up to today has had, you know, a serious psychological impact on myself. I don't trust myself to say. Now, before I start this thing, comrades, I'll ask again, comrades, before I start to give the political report, and say, Bathule nje baziqiniso. Awusikhokhele wesathu. Someone must try that song. I just like that verse. Bathule nje baziqiniso. Now I'll explain why I like that verse, comrades. Can somebody sing it for us, please? Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, comrades. The chair was asking me that I must emphasize to all SACOM and the regional leaders that we start at 9 a.m. in Gauteng. Must just be mindful of that, comrades. You can't arrive at 3 o'clock. Can't arrive at 3. There's a region that is notoriously late. I won't mention its name. It's notoriously late. Actually, there are two regions that are notoriously late. Notoriously. Which means it's not once off. And the leaders are looking at me now. I won't mention names, comrades. Please go and improve. Especially those who are notoriously late. Comrades, I say that we must speak the truth at all times. We must try to speak the truth. Now, my own definition of truth, which I found from a book I read sometime in 1988, sometime 35 years ago, written by a man called Maurice Comfort, who was explaining dialectical materialism. and what is ideas. And it defines the truth as correspondence between ideas and objective reality. Correspondence between ideas and objective reality. And we're going to try to speak truth today here to you, comrades. Number one is that I know most leaders of the union in the branches sometimes get confused as to when that development and they see phenomena developing, they can't understand where things are going. Simply because, number one, some comrades may not be properly equipped to analyze situations, may not be properly equipped to do that. Number two, even if they are properly equipped to do that, but they were not there, so they don't know what is going on. Nature does not allow a vacuum. And therefore, comrades might make conclusions based on their own experience. If you don't know, you always assume. Because nature does not allow a vacuum. And sometimes when you assume wrong, your conclusion is inevitably wrong. So we want to correct some of the assumptions that are there, comrades, so that when you live here, you are able to know what is going on. Now, we attended a COSATU Congress in September last year. Right, in September, right? In September last year. It was a hectic conference anyway. But what is of interest, and I'll take time to explain this process to you, comrade, is that when we arrived at the Congress, there was registration. Now, registration, what does it mean? It means that comrades go and register to say, I'm here, I'm a delegate. And then the secretary, whoever, you know, as branch secretaries, you do it as regional secretaries, you do it with the RTGMs, you go to the front and say, these are the credentials. This is what Comrade Likitan was doing. This is who's here and who's not. It's a job done by secretaries. Now, the General Secretary of COSATU went to present the credentials and indicated that expected was 2,000 and something, but in the meeting, those who have registered is 1,854. 1,854, and I'll come back to this number, why we emphasize this 1,854. Now, what has happened is that we were expected to receive messages of support from the alliance. And the African National Congress normally, as per each and every COSATU Congress, will send someone to address. In this instance, they sent the national chairperson of the ANC, Comrade Gwede Mantashe. What happened is that he was not allowed to address. The address was disrupted. There were a lot of posters that indicated that, no, you must give us the 2018 money that you owe us and all those things. It became sort of a PSC-BC issue in the Congress of COSATU. It became a bread and butter issue within the Congress itself. Now, as Sadtu, when we were preparing for this Congress on the Sunday, we did not know that there would be any disruptions. So we were sitting there shocked at what was going on. It took us by surprise. So naturally, when you don't know what's going on, you are unable to partake. So we were numb and not know what to do. Hey, Kanti, we have never seen in any Congress of COSATU a key alliance partner like the African National Congress being stopped from talking. Be that as it may, we didn't say anything except just to watch what was unfolding. We accepted it. That's what happened. And the Congress finished without the ANC addressing us. That's a key alliance partner. We were addressed by the SACP, which was fine. Now came two issues to be decided. Number one, there was a motion on the table to say we must create the position of deputy, and I'll give you the result. The second motion on the table was whether, look, let's not hurry this decision. Let's take a resolution actually to say, let's allow structures to go back and consult, and then we call a special Congress in 2023 to deliberate on this matter. That was the Sadtu position. So there was voting on that issue. Now, if you have a pen, I'll give you the statistics now so that you understand. Number one, credentials is 1,854. On the motion whether we must have the position of deputy secretary, and I must explain first the constitutional requirement. On the change to the constitution of COSATU, you need a 2/3 majority. So if we are 1,000, you need 6 people. If we are 100, you need 66. That's 2/3 of 1854 is. You know, I'm very sloppy. I should have calculated it myself. I'm being careless here. Can somebody do it for me? I know there are mathematic people here who are very good and will tell us what 2/3 of 1854 is. So you can divide it by 3, multiply it by 2. I'm sure it will give you something. It's 1,200 and something. 1,246. 1236. Thank you very much, comrades. So it will say you need 1236 if this figure is correct. You need 2/3 majority, you need 1236. On any other motion, you need 50% plus 1. But the one is not 50%, it's not a percent. So if we are 1,000, you need 501 for it to become a resolution. 50% will be 500, but you add 1%, it's 501. It's a resolution. Even in Sadtu, that's how we take decisions. 50 plus 1. Even on voting for positions. 50 plus 1. So we go to the issue of the 2/3 majority. Now, there was one spoiled paper. Those who voted yes is 513. Those who said no is 298, which gives us 812. And there was one vote where the person wrote nothing. It was a clean vote. So it makes it 813. On whether we must have a deputy secretary. Voted, it's yes 513, no 298, spoiled is 1, clean 1, 813. So out of 1854, if you have people who are 1854 and you need 1236 to take a decision, if you have people who voted and are 812, but of that 812, 513 have said no, do you have a decision? No, 513 is not. It's not even near a 2/3 majority. You are still short of 700. On the political issue, out of 1,854, some affiliates did not even bother to go and vote. Like Sadtu, no one from Sadtu went to vote. Dinosa, I think, also did not go to vote. I can find you the names of the affiliates who voted. 37 people voted and the ballot paper had no yes or no. Spoiled, 176. Now when it's spoiled, it's like one person vote yes and no in the same paper. 176. Those who said no, we are not agreeing to this, let's take it to another process, is 196. And those who voted yes for the SACP, for COSATU to support the SACP to take a resolution on state power, it's 547. When you calculate everybody that has voted on the political motion, there are 956. What is 50% of 1854? No, that will be something like 927, right? My math is not so bad. 927. So in order for you to have a decision, you must have people 927 plus 1, which makes it 928. Will make it 50% plus 1 of people who have registered in the conference. Now we go to Kundlula. The Congress was in September. There's October, November, December, January, February. On 21 or 20 so, or 19 February or 20 February, the CEC of COSATU meets. Now what is the CEC of COSATU? The CEC of COSATU will say is the national office bearers of COSATU plus leaders from affiliates, national office bearers of affiliates, and the chairpersons and secretaries of provinces. It's the CEC. It's a powerful body because it's where the national office bearers of affiliates are sitting. It's very powerful. They sit and interpret the results 5 months after. They say they agree that on the position of deputy secretary, only 513 people voted yes. So we don't have a 2/3 majority, and therefore this decision falls off. They go to the issue of the contestation of state power. They say, all right, 956 people voted. So out of that 956, we have 547 that have said yes, it constitutes a majority of those who voted. And therefore we have a resolution. It's no longer 50% or plus one of people who attended. It's now 50% plus one of those who voted. It's a bizarre resolution. Now, we were in Cape Town attending to a meeting, and we received this report from people who are attending the CEC to say, we stood up in the CEC to tell them that this is not constitutional. They are not agreeing to us. They are not agreeing with us. Actually, they want to pronounce that there's a resolution. A National Executive Committee meeting was called, attended by all secretaries and chairpersons of provinces of SADTU, including the National Office Bearers. I was part of that meeting, together with my chair here. So it was a virtual meeting because everyone was wherever they are. Now in that meeting, we received this report, and the East NEC took a resolution to say, no, you must go and give SADTU notice that this resolution, if they proceed with this thing, we're not going to agree with it. And we're even prepared to go and annul this decision legally. But we're writing to warn you. We're warning you in writing that you can't proceed with this decision. You can't. There was a warning. Since 21 February, that warning, they said no, they will have a meeting with the National Office Bearers of SADTU. Only the General Secretary pitched up at that meeting. Other National Office Bearers did not come. So we are born with that. No one is listening here. Now the NEC decision was that if they don't do this thing, we must go to court to annul that decision. And that's what has happened. SADTU went to court to say you must stop because this resolution is not constitutional. This court case is not about the merits of whether SADTU supports the SACP to contest state power or not. It's not about that. It's about the constitutionality of the decision. Now Maluleke is the General Secretary of SADTU. He's like me as a provincial secretary. The Constitution says that the secretary must do the work of writing and doing things. Now some people are going out and saying it's Maluleke doing this, Maluleke doing that. You personalize it. But he's a general secretary of SADTU. He's supposed to do this job. That's what secretaries do. If now you say the HOD, even the MEC, ayotugwa by SADTU, no tumami namus. But it can't be personal to say it's me. I don't have a problem personally, but I'll carry out the mandate of SADTU. That's why I signed the ballot paper to say I agree to serve the union. It means that I will do what the union says me to do as long as it's legal. It's me who must write to structures. If somebody has acted, if there's a disciplinary case, it's me who must write to you to say, this disciplinary case, you have been found guilty. It's not me who have found you guilty, it's the union. But someone must write on behalf of the union, and the Constitution says it's the secretaries who must do that. Branch secretaries must be abalamus, comrades. So if you are a secretary, the Constitution gives you the power to write. Why can't you defend your general secretary when people are saying that he's the one doing these things? Because you know as secretaries that it's you who must implement. It's not personal. So people become personal and say, there was a false note that was circulating here saying that he must not be allowed to set foot in Mpumalanga. And we say it will never happen. He will set foot in Mpumalanga. As long as SADTU is there, he will come here. He will come here, we'll defend him with our lives. He's an implementer of decisions. It's not personal, comrades. And people who become petty and personalize this thing, it's when we are bereft of ideas. When you don't know, you become personal. When you don't have arguments, you become personal. That's why I want to tell us something about how you look. It's because they have no ideas to put on the table. Now, what is the SADTU position on the SACP, comrades? SADTU is not averse to the SACP contesting state power. We are members of the SACP ourselves. I personally I pay subscriptions to the peace. I'm a member in good standing. We're not averse to it. In fact, if it will happen, we will do it. But the decision by COSATU must be constitutional. Now, someone was saying, I saw it, there's this thing called Twitter where people say saying Sadtu is leaving COSATU and going to FEDUSA. I'm like, a comrade, come on, man. How petty can you get, comrade? How do we find ourselves to say that we're going to affiliate to FEDUSA? It's not even possible. FEDUSA does not even want us because we're too Marxist for their liking. I don't think the COSATU, the FEDUSA unions will want to start to speak Marxism. Bakulumenge hegemony, negation of the negation. This is not going to happen, comrades. Now, when you look at the issue of the contestation of state power, comrades, we must not be silly and want to use emotions because sometimes maybe I'm upset with what has happened within the African National Congress, and I think that this is what we need to use the proper tools of analysis. We need to use the proper tools of analysis, comrades. And the party has shown us that as an adherent of Marxist-Leninist ideology, we must always use the proper tools. Number one, we have agreed. What are the tools of analysis that we must use? Number one is dialectical materialism. Number two is the materialistic conception of history, or what they call historical materialism. Under dialectical materialism, we talk about transformation from quantity to quality. We speak negation of the negation. We speak the unity and struggle of opposites. Historical materialism, we check historical development of society from feudal society up to capitalism. Those are the proper tools, not anger, not common sense. And I say, comrades, a party is very scientific, as I know it should be. It is very scientific. The party cannot be told by any single union not to contest the state power. It also cannot be told by any single union to contest state power because it stops being a party. SACP is not a party of union. It's not a party of unions only, comrades. It's a party of the working class. And the working class has its own stratifications. The unemployed, they're part of the working class. So it's not only about organized workers. Even workers who are not organized within unions must be organized into the party. No single union can dictate whether or not to contest state power or not. Now, COSATU must go back and say, we cannot allow divisions within our ranks over this kind of matter, comrades. Common sense must prevail. Common sense must prevail here. Additionally, the party, as the vanguard party, must also come in to say, comrades, let's go back and fix this thing. When we take this decision, we need to carry all the workers, even those within Sadtu. In 2017, Sadtu took a resolution at the National General Council to say, because we're preempting that this might happen, in the event the SACP decides to contest state power, a special congress should be convened, a special congress of Sadtu, which means all branches of Sadtu in the country will be called to one meeting to be consulted on the matter. Now, I saw somebody who was a former leader of Sadtu saying that, no, in the contestation of state power, it's not about consultation. Sometimes, comrades, we are failing to produce people who understand. A former branch leader for 2 terms. He says, no, it's not a matter of consultation. What do we mean? When do we say consultation, what do we mean, comrades? You want a resolution of Sadtu. A resolution of Sadtu. How do you get to a resolution? You don't call people to a meeting and tell them, we're going to contest state power from tomorrow, naive, comrades. That's not how Sadtu works. You say to the comrades, there are these ideas. These are our objective and subjective factors. We think this is the way we should move. Is there any motion on the table? One branch will stand up and say, I move that we change the political decision to support the African National Congress and go with the SACP. Which branch is seconding? Someone from Nkomazi East will raise their hand and say, I'm supporting. And somebody from Elukwatini will raise their hand and say, no, I'm thirding this thing. And as per workers, 6 or 7 will raise their hands, all of them to say, no, I'm seconding. To show that it's unanimous. So we will not dilly-dally on this matter, comrades. That's where we are with the issue. And we further say, comrades, in order for you to grasp this matter, comrades, even further, just to deepen the understanding further, the South African Democratic Teachers Union also has a constitution. SADTU also has a constitution. And none of us here can undermine that constitution. It also tells us how to take decisions as SADTU. Number one, it agrees on the principle of representative democracy. That if a branch is very big, in Nkomazi West, you will send 10 delegates to the Congress. If you are small, Silobela, you will send 2. Or send 1. If you are small, Mashishing, you will send 1. If you are small, Verena, you will send half. That's what the Constitution will say, comrades. It will also say provinces, the chairperson and secretary of provinces must go to that meeting. So it cannot be correct that you will expect that an informal meeting of delegates of SADTU to a Congress of COSATU can sit together in a meeting and say, we are changing. Because the resolution to support the African National Congress, it's a Congress resolution, comrades. Those of you who read SADTU documents, you'll know it's a Congress resolution. It's not from the air. And actually, these comrades who don't understand what the dynamics are, I think some of them become historical. When you're not being historical, you are historical. There was a point where COSATU had to face a debate whether it must become what they will call charterist organization or should be workerist. There was that debate at the early stages of COSATU. It was a big debate. The difference is that at that time, there was no Twitter and Facebook. And comrades used to read a lot at that time. Right now, the comrades only speak on Twitter. If a comrade, just write whatever they want. They just post whatever they want. If a comrade is feeling sad, dumped by somebody yesterday, they are angry on Twitter. In the past, this thing did not happen. Comrades read. There was that debate, comrades. It was a very, very big debate whether to go. What the charterists will be people who will say that we are adherents of the Freedom Charter. And that debate was defeated. That one of becoming workerist. And a more Marxist-Leninist approach was followed by COSATU, comrades. So it's not the first time COSATU is facing an ideological debate. But why is it that now, if somebody has a different view, they must be labeled a sellout? Or you don't like the party, you don't want to do this. We love the party, comrades. I was trained by the SACP. I was trained by the SACP. Spend money to produce this. I was produced by the SACP and COSATU. And I'm not even ashamed of it. I was not produced by the African National Congress. SACP trained us. The first time myself I saw a book of dialectical materialism was in 1988, like I'm saying. Very difficult concept to grasp. But if the party puts you that program, you start to realize it and learn it, and then you internalize it. Because the first thing you realize is that, number one, there are two classes. And you can see, I belong to this class because I own no means of production. None of you own anything, comrades. You may be bourgeois in thinking, but you're not a bourgeois. That's why when comrades bang mangaza, my comrade goge sutu encha, but we bourgeois man. Well, it does not mean really you are bourgeois. It's because comrades associate a suit with the bourgeoisie. And the working class must be associated with torn clothes, overalls, and other things. You must wear overall or working clothes. Just as much as people will associate being beautiful with a lighter skin. That's when you don't have ideology. To say if your pigmentation is not on the lucky side, according to them, When you are not lighter, then you're not beautiful, because black is not supposed to be beautiful. Abanye ma comrades mawafana no Thembi so abona. Moyifanela nami, you are in trouble. So let's defend the organization, comrades. Let's defend the organization. This court case that we're taking against COSATU is not a declaration of war against the SACP or any other affiliate, or even a declaration of war against COSATU. It is to correct the decision making of COSATU. No one must bully decisions of COSATU. It's a principle stand. And in COSATU, I don't know why we don't learn. It's not the first time COSATU has to be corrected by a court. NUMSA took COSATU to court in 2014 and won, because the decision was wrong. Yesterday I had an interview with Mungana Lonen, and they were asking me these questions. And I went back to trace this thing of NUMSA, and they said to me, but what has happened to NUMSA? It's a tricky question. What has happened to NUMSA? They are suggesting that SATU wants to go the route of NUMSA. It's not going to happen, comrades. We're an affiliate of COSATU, we're going nowhere. And it will not even be chased out of COSATU by anyone. It's our COSATU. We carry it. Just like the SACP, it's our SACP. If the SACP comes to the provincial office, but we are there to assist the SACP. We're going nowhere. So it must be very clear, comrades. We're not declaring war against the SACP. We love the SACP. That's why I said it. Viva SACP. The SACP must live longer, because it's our party. It's a party that you know, we put our faith in as workers. So no one must try to antagonize us, comrades. The propaganda is to try to belittle SATU. And sometimes I think I was in a COSATU Congress where we were contesting a position, and there was one affiliate who said, I think some of it comes from that area. Some of it comes from that area, you know, to want to say these teachers were going to teach them a lesson. And it's something that we must debunk, comrades. Whether you are a teacher or not, we're not different from people who work at ShopRite, comrades. We're all dependent on salaries to survive. We're not different. All of you, by the 20th or 18th of the month, you're 13. All of you, comrades, if we search you collectively, if we put all the money in this room, on the floor, it will not even make 1,000. Collectively. It's because we're dependent on our salaries to survive. If we check what we all ate yesterday, comrades, it will be problematic. Because some of us, yesterday, I'm sure, ate the insides of animals because they are cheaper. Some of us ate chicken feet. Some of us ate the insides of animals. So we're not different from workers at ShopRite. We're not different from workers in the mines. We're the same. We all depend on a salary to survive. We don't think we're even better than them. We're like everyone else. So no one must cast that shadow over us, comrades, and make us as if, wow, we want to be different or anything. Now, lastly, as I sit down, comrades, and say, the structures of SATU. There was a post on Facebook, I won't mention names, a few days ago. And a current serving branch secretary of SATU, not secretary, a branch serving office bearer of SATU in the province, was supporting somebody who was saying wrong things about the union. Someone said a post on Facebook to say, Maluleke, I knew he was going to do this because he's looking at the position in parliament. A serving branch office bearer of SATU says, I agree. I agree. We have to correct it and engage them. What do you agree with? And the comrade says, no, he was drinking. No, I was drinking. I did not read it properly, this thing. But I find, comrades, I find that if you're unable to unite yourself and defend yourself against some of these things, you're allowing this narrative to become reality, to the point where some of us who are not even schooled in the trade union movement start to support it unknowingly. If you tell a lie many a times, it takes on the shape of reality. If you tell a child that she's ugly, from 3 years, 4 years, you are ugly, you are ugly, you are ugly, the child is likely to grow up believing that they're ugly. Even if they blossom at 18 years, they become beautiful at 18 years, they still know themselves to be ugly. So if you tell a lie many a times, it takes on the truth. If people believe that no, utabang we are choncha. Someone says utabang we are choncha and it's not true. And someone says, the second person says it. And tabang every time makakuluma about, hey, when are you a thief? You're a thief, you're a thief. He starts to think of himself as a thief. So if you don't regroup, comrades, and say, we have faith in our structures, we have faith in what we are doing as a union, we know that what we are doing is correct. Some people will tell our story, comrades. Comrades, don't believe in propaganda. Please, comrades. Don't believe in propaganda. Every day when I'm listening on the news, everybody's talking about the escape of Thabo Bester. Everybody has a theory. I stopped listening some time ago. Someone will tell us the truth one day what happened. But everybody has a theory. Hey, upumeng a fist there, hey, ulande helicopter. But people who are saying this don't even know. So if you believe propaganda, you are likely to want to repeat that propaganda, comrades. Take care of your own. Become conscious. And don't let this insult slide, comrades. Enter into this debate of ideas. Enter into that debate. Some of you have Facebook. You are posting yourself going to church every day. As if we have an interest in you going to church. You are posting yourself, if you are going to a shop in Woolworths, you are posting, Woolworths now. You see somebody attacking the General Secretary of Sadtu, you keep quiet. You then go to look at your pictures and say, I was in church. You go to the beach, everybody must see you are at the beach. Then we know you are at the beach now. Somebody posted something negative about Sadtu, you keep quiet. Man, you are a leader of the union. What kind of leaders are we? Why are you leading if you can't defend? If you can't defend and believe these things, you don't belong in leadership, comrades. You must be a member. You are chairpersons and secretaries of branches. You are branch and secretaries and chairpersons of branches. What are you doing there, comrades? You are not there to look for posts. You are there to defend this union. When we were elected, no one has said to you, comrades, Hambani no principal. Sadtu does not even promote that thing. We are not looking at posts. We don't care who becomes a principal. We are here to defend this union so that we protect our interests as teachers and as workers. That's what the union must do. So if you are there and you want these things and keep quiet, then you should not be leading. You should be members. Give those who can lead, comrades. Give those who can talk. You are not elected to be socialites. To go and hold a BC meeting at Nando's. That's not what you are elected for. You are elected to defend the members of Sadtu. You must defend the members of Sadtu. If a principal is abusing a member, you must be the first to stand up and say, this is wrong. If somebody from outside the union is saying something negative about your union, you must say, no, it's not true. The truth is this. If someone is saying, no, Sadtu tomorrow wants to go to Fetusa, you say, no, it will never happen. Where do you get that? Why are you spewing lies about the union? Some of you belong in these social WhatsApp groups where people are saying all those things. You can't keep quiet, comrades. You must contest ideas. They say, no, the correct picture is this. Call me and ask, what is the true picture? Don't call me to ask me about allocation in Ghana. No, Pala, can't the allocation again? No. Ask me about what is the true picture, what happened at the Kwasatu Congress, no, Pala. Then I'll explain to you. Are we understanding each other, comrades? And I said this, I said, sit down. You are not elected, comrades, to do another thing but to defend the union and be leaders of the union. You are leaders. Lead.
Aim that they have to do these things at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade David. Number 2.
Viva for the Viva. The fact that Comrade Provincial Secretary Sadtu is not a clandestine, neither is Sadtu a surreptitious member of the family of Kosadu. I want to understand from you, representing Sadtu, as to whether maybe upon taking a decision by the people who were in the Congress, was there no any other means, any other mechanism to resolve this quagmire short of going to court? Thank you, Comrade. I don't know if to whether.
Thank you, leadership. Comrade Mike.
Yeah, no, Chair, thank you very much. The unfortunate part is that I do not know whether to pose a question or to make a substantive presentation on the part that was not really covered by the provincial secretary, which I believe it's exactly what is the problem for us as a community. Because Chairperson, the secretary correctly, indulged us into the Marxist-Leninist theory of dialectics, which is very important for us to always understand what is dialectics. You see, which is a projection of two diametrically opposed forces. Now, I'm just raising this so that we are able to, as to defend ourselves outside, particularly because what is currently prevailing is not necessarily within COSATU itself as a federation, but it is from COSATU affiliates. When you know as SATU, you are contesting space with particular COSATU trade unions. And those are the same unions that are projecting SATU in its current form. And I want to say, as SATU, we must be able to come out very clear. Because remember, the space that we are contesting here is the space of SATU and Nehab. And we are not coming out very clear because we don't want to speak to the truth. Let us speak truth to the fact if we are saying we are dialectical. Because dialectics dictate that we must be able to tell the truth. And the truth that we are confronting now is that the propaganda that we are facing is because we are contesting spaces starting with Nehau. And Nehau has used that space to now promote this propaganda of really speaking ill of our own leaders. And what gives Nehau the upper hand is because there are also leaders who have projected Nehau as the most revolutionary organization beyond SADC. And that is the problem that we are facing, Chairman. Whether we must be able to come out very clear to say, as members of SADC, how then do we defend ourselves against the propaganda of other trade unions? Because if we are not really able to do that, at the end of the day, the lies that they are projecting will really end up being the truth. And then the other issue which is now in the media space, which of course currently is being spoken of, Chairperson, is that on Facebook, I want us to be able to tell you once more, Chairperson, is that on Facebook, our deputy chairperson and our deputy president and the president, they have been here to say, as SADC, we are supporting the African National Congress, come 2024. And if really we can't correct that to say, such chairperson does not prevail, to others we prevail as it is the truth because we are not dispelled it. Now we must be able to correct that and say, there is nothing like that. As such, we have not at any stage pronounced currently our support to either the party or the ANC in 2024. Until such that we'll be able to go to a Congress which must be able to put our position very clear, to say, where are we? And Congress must understand that as the party, we had an augmented central committee last week, which we attended. Now, if we are not correctly briefed, so that we are able to wait until the correct pronouncement comes from the party itself, other trade unions, of course, will be saying, SADC will not be supporting the South African Communist Party, based on what prevailed in the Congress. And the chairperson, as the secretary was presenting, I mean, we must, of course, be able to also simplify this image. You know, by virtue of others having believed that we ourselves were against it, what prevailed in the Congress. No, chairperson, we need to correctly, portray us to say that which they are chairperson presenting is incorrect. Because you must be able to distinguish between a two-thirds majority and a simple majority. And what the secretary was presenting, it was for both. Because for constitutional amendment, you need a two-thirds majority. But for any other resolution, you need a simple majority. And a simple majority cannot be defined by people who remained in the meeting at a particular time. It must be defined by people who registered to be in the meeting throughout the meeting. That will determine the 50+1 percentage. That is a simple majority. Which of course you must understand as we leave this meeting to say, what of course made SADC to then present whatever it presented. It was not necessarily on the basis of only on the issue of the two-thirds majority. But remember, the argument was also on the simple majority, which was not defined in terms of your good self as teachers. Because there are those who proclaim to be teachers while they're forgetting that you taught them. But at the end of the day, they want to really presume themselves that they will be able to teach you, but while at the same time unteaching or disschooling you. You see? Yes. So it's you who must be able to lead them so that they understand these concepts correctly. And unless we leave this meeting today, they must know what is the position of SADC. Yes, they must know. So that we do not really find ourselves to be, pitted against the House and the others. Here we're talking ourselves in our position in terms of ECOSAD, not in terms of trade unions within COSAD. Because that is what SADC wanted to defend. And at the same time, we must understand that SADC wanted to also defend the integrity and posture of COSAD. It was not doing this because we are a populist union, like the others, of course, are populist union. We are not. We wanted to defend the federation that we are part of. Let me say, Chairperson, in brief, that is what I wanted just to cover. As the Secretary did not really get into it, but rather spoke about the other issues. To say there is this issue, Chairperson, which we must really pronounce ourselves clearly on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mike. Partly, you were also answering the question, who is the third force within or outside of our frustrations and also talking to the issue of was there
other means that could have been followed to resolve this particular challenge that we're having between SADTU and COSATU. The background that we have now given is also spelling out as to why we even had to take that route, because we had exhausted all others. Number 4.
Speaking after him sometimes. Okay, let me say this, comrades. Actually, I'm saying is taken most of my stuff. Now, my question is, as SADTU, having applied for court to interrogate this issue, are we all-heartedly going to accept any kind of verdict? Why I'm saying this, it's that the way we are so divided as COSATU, and when we say COSATU is divided, we are not referring to the federation per se, that body, they affiliate themselves, which already began to develop another problem, that even if the court verdict can go either way, not favoring SADTU, still we are going to have a fragmented COSATU, because now the chances is there might be some bulldozing, some bulls that bulldoze until the end, but at the end of the day, the SSP itself might not achieve what is setting for itself to achieve, which is to win the government through the elections. So now I'm saying, borrowing from extending the question of that comrade to say, can't we find somebody who can intervene, become an arbitrator of some sort, to help us to smoothly get out of this mud? Because court or no court, at the end of the way, at the end of the day, we can't assist, even if solidly united. Because now we know unity, it's a weapon, unity is a strategy. So now, in the way things seem, comrade, COSATU is limping, is weak. So I don't know, I'm appealing to say, can't we find other avenues where we can find a political solution? Because to me, court outcome, I don't think it's going to assist in bringing back the glue that hold us as COSATU. Because, comrades, the other thing, really so, like myself, I'm a member of SSCP, I'm a DEC member, so it's going to be difficult. We are going to be divided, comrades. So I appealing to the leadership to say, can't we have another way apart from this court thing? Because this court thing, it's not our way of resolving things. It's a foreign way. We are against it. We want a solution where we'll sit as COSATU and the SSCP and talk out of this matter. I submit.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the submission. Number 5.
what the position of Sadtu is on the, in particular the case between us, Sadtu versus COSATU. When a case is thrown the odds, has not taken a decision to contest either state power or elections. They have said in their own mouth, in the same conference of COSATU, through the mouth of the General Secretary of COSATU, that the SSAP is ready, but it cannot take a decision without workers consulting themselves to support the SSAP if the decision is taken. Then when you file a court case or when you take a decision to support, you're supporting who? First thing, maybe for the judge to dismiss a case before the issues of credentials, because you need to ask yourself the main matter of the matter being the question of contestation of state power or elections. That's the first thing, comrade. The second thing, comrade, is that what are we going to do as Sadtu should we win the case? Because one, in our papers, we don't have friends of Sadtu as affiliates of COSATU. We are the only organization or union that have seen things not going well in the conference. They themselves united, they may wish to pursue the matter to a higher court, and we are going to go there to defend ourselves. Growing of things, the animosity will grow to a level where they decide in their majority that Sadtu should be dismissed through proper organized meeting within COSATU, because that will never be a matter of direct case. And the second question is there, what are we going to do? Should we win the case? I think this is the same question Comrade also have been asked in Ganalone, to say, are you not going to go the road of NUMSA? But we need to prepare ourselves because this is not the only meeting we're going to have as press leaders. We need to go there. Some of the questions will be asked. The third question, what are we going to do? Should we lose the case? Are we going to pursue? At least without